What's up, everybody? My name is Reggie, and today we have a special video for you. I'm going to do what I'm calling a mid-year board game tag. Now, I got this idea from the lovely Elliot Brooks over on BookTube, has great videos about fantasy and reading in general. If you're interested in that at all, definitely go check her out. So what I'm going to do and how this is going to work is I have about 8 prompts, and I'm going to answer them all about myself and about how this year has gone as a board game player. And then I'm going to tag about 10 or so other channels and ask them to tag 2 or 3 other people as well. So I'm really excited to talk about these prompts, but feel free for you in the comments, chat below and let me know what are your answers for each of these prompts. It's been a really fun year of gaming for me personally, and I want to know how you all have been faring out in this great hobby that we call board games. Here we go. I'm going to start with my favorite game of the year, and I couldn't pick just one, so I'm going to cheat, but I don't care because I make the rules and do one light game and one heavier game. So my number 1 light favorite game of the year is Challengers, and I've talked about this before in a few videos, but I cannot get enough of this game, and my friend group personally loves it, and that makes me happy. It is a deck building game that has a lot of mechanics similar to War, and you are going to be flipping cards over, battling the person across from you on these very beautiful neoprene mats. Then, in a very tournament style, you are going to swap positions and play against one of the other up to 7 other players in this game. And there is a lot of luck to this game, but in between rounds, you get to add 1 or 2 cards to your deck to make it better. And there's a lot of combos and synergies. It's on Board Game Arena, and that has really brought it up lately. But I love this game, and I think it is not for everyone if you are not if you're not a fan of luck. But I really, really enjoy this game. It has been my favorite light game of the year, Challengers. My favorite heavier game of the year, I have only played once, and I played it as what I call Garage Con with 2 of my closest buddies, and that was Scythe. So I am a big Stonemaier Games fan. I love Jamie Stegmaier and follow his channel, and I really, really was excited to play this game that's been out for years now, and it was just such a board gamer's game. There's area control, there's resource management, you have your own player board that you get to have action selection on, all the things you'd love with these beautiful minis. And when you go look it up online, I don't own it personally, but it really is an affordable game for how much is in this box and how beautiful the art is. So I was really impressed with Scythe in my one play, and I have to give it a shout out here as my favorite heavy game of the year. Moving on to my most played game of the year, and that is Marvel Champions. It's really not that big of a surprise to me because I can play it solo and I don't need to bring people around me to play it, but you can play it up to 4 players. It is a cooperative, card-driven game where you and up to 3 friends can play against the big bad villains that you know and hate or love. And I have been playing it so much solo and so much with my friends playing campaign modes. There's about 40 plus expansions released, whether it's heroes, villains, and campaign boxes for this game, and I've maybe purchased a third of that. You can buy the Marvel Champions core set, which comes with 5 heroes and 3 villains for about $60 US, and play that for years. I did not buy a new hero pack for like a full year after getting the first game. So there's a ton of content. It's definitely more complex than a lot of the games I play, but it is a lifestyle game for many people where that is their primary game. So if you are a big fan of Marvel Champions, or you're even slightly interested but you love trading card games and you want to try to do something more cooperative, I highly recommend this game. And obviously I played a ton. It is my most played game so far in the year 2023. Next up is my biggest surprise, and that is 7 Wonders Architects. I keep talking about this game on my channel. Check out some of my older videos. It is just a hoot, for lack of a better term. It was a big surprise for me because of all the negative rhetoric I had heard. Many people who are fans of 7 Wonders or 7 Wonders Duel thought that this was too light of a variant of the game. And I have to respectfully disagree. I love introducing this to new people because it has 3 decks, 2 of them are face up and 1 is face down, and that's what you get to choose, one card from each of those. And there's a little complexity when it comes to that, but it is a very light game, and I think for the player count and someone like myself who plays a lot of board games can still enjoy it in person or BGA, I think it is really one of the best gateway games out there, and I've shouted it out before, but it just really surprised me how much I enjoy it as a quote-unquote gamer, and also how other folks who are non-gamers have really taken to it. And so I'm really glad to say that Seven Wonders Architect was a big, positive, pleasant surprise for me this year. On the other side of the coin is biggest disappointment. And I think I am a channel that kind of talks about a lot of games in a very positive light. I love board gaming. I really do find something to enjoy in many of the games that I play. This one was my biggest disappointment because of the designers, actually, and this is Maui. So the trio of designers that make this game makes Botnik, which is one of my favorite two-player games, maybe my all-time favorite two-player game, and definitely my wife's favorite game. We play this all the time. We have like 40 plus plays, and the more you play it, the more strategy and depth there is into it. So when I picked up Maui, I was like, this is going to be a great game. And it just has fallen flat. I think we've given it about 5 plays at 2-player, 3-player, and 4-player. So I just don't think this one hits for us. It's kind of a dud. Pretty components. It's got these sand dollars as the currency, which I love, but I just don't like the drafting and how the play goes. It just has been a big disappointment. And so I would have to shout that one out as the one that really let me down so far in 2023. My next prompt I've come up with is called Shelf of Opportunity. So I want us all to talk about a game on their shelf that they have not played, but they are most excited to hit the table. So this year I got my hands on a copy of Puerto Rico 1897. This is a rendition of a very classic game that people love, Puerto Rico. Puerto Rico, the game, had many very unsavory aspects to it and the theme, and especially regarding colonization. So what they decided to do with this new version is focus on this 2 or 3 year span where Puerto Rico was not under Spanish colonization or US annexation. And so you are playing now as a farmer in Puerto Rico who owns your own farm and is doing all these great things in there. The game did not come with the right amount of tiles, and so I finally reached out to Ravensburger and got the correct tiles put in the box. So I have it ready to play. I have no excuse. I just haven't taken the time to learn it. The components are beautiful. I love the box, and I'm just excited to try this amazing game that is beloved, that was problematic and now has been corrected for the modern era. So I really want to get this in my hands. And personally, my mother and my family is Puerto Rican, so it is something as a Boricua person that I'm really excited to try in the future. So I'm going to get this to the table at some point this summer. Puerto Rico 1897. The next one is what I'm calling Best Discovery. And so as someone who really joined the hobby in the last 2.5 years or so and really started diving into modern board games, there's a lot of games that I missed over the last 5-10 years. And so what I want to do with this one is pick a game that did not come out in 2023 or 2022, but you just discovered this year. And so for me, that was It's a Wonderful World. This was taught to me by the handsome, immaculate Nick Murphy at Dice Tower West. And let me tell you that this game has taken over my gaming group. All of my friends love this. We are constantly in a game of this in Board Game Arena. And then one of my other friends, Phil, he has bought everything for this game already. We've played it in real life. So I personally love it. I love engine builders. And I did not really know much about this game, but it is a closed drafting game. You look at 7 cards in your hand, select one, and pass them. And you are trying to build this amazing civilization with all these cool little cards. And there's a bunch of little bits that build the cards and then help you generate more and more of those resources as the game goes on. So very much an engine building, starts out slow and you end up being able to do a lot as the game goes on in 4 rounds, but it's very quick. It's very thinky, and it's so easy to just play over and over and over. And so It's a Wonderful World from 2019 is the game I'm excited to say was my best discovery this half year. All right, moving on to anticipated release of the year. So there's a lot of games that are going to probably come out from all these big conventions or just come to retail or Kickstarter over the second half of the year. So I want to shout out one expansion and one game that I'm most excited about. Both are nature themed and pretty predictable if you do know me well. So number one is Cascadia Landmarks. Now this is the expansion to the lovely game Cascadia. I am a proud Pacific Northwest resident that lives in Oregon. I live in Oregon, grew up in Washington, so I love this Pacific Northwest focus on nature, and I love this game, and I'm excited for Randy Flynn's future games, but I love to buy expansions for games that I already adore and just want a little bit more meat on the bones. And so this one is adding these landmark tiles that are going to score differently, and I'm really excited to see what he does with this expansion. The game that I am most excited about is by one of my favorite designers, Elizabeth Hargrave of Wingspan and Mariposas and Tussie Mussy fame. Her next game is called The Fox Experiment, and I read the whole Kickstarter page and missed out on it. I think I'll buy it when it comes to retail, but I have been hearing really good things lately from people who've got early previews or who have checked it out at conventions. And it is basically a game about the experience of trying to domesticate foxes that really happened, I think, in the last century or so. Really intriguing topic. She always loves to teach you something while you're playing a game. And I've heard the mechanics are really unique in that you are selecting two different types of foxes and breeding them to get desirable traits. And so I'm excited to see how that plays out. And so Fox Experiment is the game I'm most excited to get my hands on this year. My final prompt is to talk about your favorite video. I want the channels that are participating in this tag to talk about the video that either gave them the most joy or how it was received, and talk about that one video that really was special for you here on YouTube. So for me, that was my top 10 gateway games video. I really loved hearing people's thoughts on their games in the comments and just seeing how the algorithm finally picked up one of my videos and let it get in front of a lot of folks. So that was really exciting. But personally, the mission for me is to introduce non-gamers, diverse folks to this hobby of modern gaming. I have so much fun with it, and one of the best ways to do that is with gateway games. So I was most proud of my top 10 gateway games video so far this year. Hey, so that is everything for my mid-year board game tag so far in 2023. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed or were entertained by this at all, feel free to share it with your board game friends, share it with your favorite YouTube channel that I did not tag in the description below, and then comment below and let me know what your answers for these prompts were. Let's chat about it down there. Thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing and coming back. I promise I will be making more and more entertaining board game content as the year goes on. Thank you.